And hello and welcome to Kearney Live. I'm Jim Dickerson along with Stacy Bratcher and Lynn Broughton. Welcome to our new time at 5 p.m. on Wednesdays. We're going to see how this goes because this is what you asked for. This is what you got. Welcome to the show, both of you. We'll start off with a little bit of news. As we talked about last week, little self-bragging here. Prime Broadcast Group and KPGZ and KMO-TV, all of our statistics came out from the last week, the last year. And I can share with you some pretty good stuff here. KMO-TV increased viewership 73%.
Wow.
2022 over 2021. Our e-news, which does all of our website news and that sort of thing, you can subscribe to that at 1027carneymo.com. And e-news readership went up 24%.
Nice.
And I'm going to leave it to you guys. What was the #1 rated video broadcast show that KMO-TV had? Anybody?
That was the one I started on.
Which one would that be?
When you guys pulled me in when I wasn't expected.
So it's, well, I meant the show as a whole, not the individual program, or the individual show, the program as a whole. But you're right.
Kearney Live?
Kearney Live. Kearney Live increased viewership last year 56%. Now here's the bad news. No pressure, Lynn, but that was when Mike Davis was on the show.
Uh-oh.
So you got
it's going to go up.
we're going to see.
Positive
We're going to see what
attitude.
happens. But there is an article that's coming out here in a little bit, and then also KMO-TV viewership reached just over 250,000
Wow.
people last year.
My
So
goodness.
for
All right.
town of Kearney and Clay County,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
That's really
Pretty
good.
darn
Pretty
good.
good. So
Really
we're
good.
pretty
Nice.
proud of that. Thank you for all of you who follow along, listen, watch, or whatever. Remember, on 102.7 FM, you can listen to it not only on the air, but you can also listen to the MyTuner radio app. And it is my understanding is I'd like to introduce the man responsible for 87.286% of all this stuff, Mr. Brian Watts.
Woohoo.
There he
That's
is.
right.
Hey, Ryan.
And Brian, it's my understanding we have an app coming out soon. Is that true?
Well, we're working on it. We're getting our tech people on it, and they're working every day on this app. So it'll come out, and it'll do our radio stream, have our news stories on it, have information. Maybe you'll have some surprises on there, too.
Awesome.
I like surprises.
Yes.
I like surprises. So anyway, thank you to everybody who tunes into the programs, listens to the radio, watches the e-news. 1027carneymo.com will get you access to all of it, but then we're on all the different platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Vimeo, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, or as Stuart Varney says, Spotify. All those things out there. And then, I'm not sure you guys remember this, but something else happened over the weekend that was kind of neat. Do you remember anything that may have happened? Maybe this will help you.
From 45 yards, all the way, it's good.
How about that? The Kansas City Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Season, 10 straight wins.
So exciting.
That's pretty. I honestly, going into the even before the game started, I thought we didn't have a chance. I was not. I mean, we had so many guys hurt, and then Kelsey was getting hurt, and then during the game we had guys
Players going down,
dropping like flies. One thing that I found that I thought was really interesting is there were all the conspiracy theories that come out.
Yep.
So a lot of people said that we paid off the officials. Now here's the deal. Anybody who's familiar with Kansas City knows if you've driven on our streets, we cannot afford to pay off any officials. That's number one. Then there was the thing where they said that the NFL wanted the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl for ratings over the Bengals. But actually, if you look back, the Bengals and the Chiefs were in the last 2 years' worth of Super Bowls, and the ratings are almost dead even. So the NFL obviously is not going to jeopardize a whole thing for that. And, you know, the one thing, not to dwell on this because it's not a sports show, and I know Brian loves his football, for those of you who know Brian. But, yep, talk to us about what did you think about the game?
I thought it was an excellent game. I watched the whole thing.
Somehow I find that hard to believe. But the one thing is, we were talking about, is the officiating worse now, or is it just that we have 30 cameras and we're psychoanalyzing every single call? And I think it's the latter. If you watch a game
Super slow motion.
Yeah, if you watch a game from the 70s, when the guy gets tackled, these officials just run in from wherever and throw the ball wherever it is. And now they triangulate it down to the inch.
Well, and I can tell you, I've officiated 7th and 8th grade and freshman. I could not imagine officiating at the pro level, because how quick just the JV, I've done JV, just the JV level, and you miss things. But I cannot imagine being out there and watching these guys that can run 4-2s, 4-3s, 4-5s, and having to get it right every time.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to watch an area.
Right.
But I'd be caught watching the ball.
Well, the funny thing is, too, I mean, when you get guys going out of bounds or whatever, I mean, it happens like that.
So quick.
Yes.
And we can slow it down and go, okay, now look, the ball is slightly moving, I think. But
Yes.
And then you watch it 30 different ways, and they didn't have that
Right.
opportunity.
Well, and I think we can agree the angle that the referee sees it at, down on the field in the thick of it,
Right.
versus what we see either in the stands or on television,
Right.
is completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, Lynn, what do you have for us?
Actually, I think it's
I
me.
think Stacy's starting off.
You know what? With that, Stacy, what do you have for us?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jim. Thank you. The Surgeon General says that 13-year-olds is too young to be on social media. Can you believe that? We'll discuss it coming up next on Kearney Live.
There's something for everyone at the Kearney Enrichment Council. Spark Studios' after-school programs at the Old Firehouse use STEAM-based activities to help kids learn, create, and find new hobbies and skills. The Enrichment Council supports our senior community with fun activities and necessary services at the Kearney Senior Center. All of Kearney comes out for our festivals, concerts, farmers markets, movies in the park, parades, and much more. The Kearney Enrichment Council, 106 South Jefferson Street in Kearney, 816-635-0566. Improve quality of life, find your place, build a better future in Kearney.
All right, welcome back to Kearney Live. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy says he believes 13 is too young for children to be on social media platforms, because although sites allow children of that age to join, kids are still developing their identity. Take a look at this.
The U.S. Surgeon General taking a stand against kids on social media, saying 13 is still too young.
I personally, based on the data I've seen, believe that 13 is too early. And I think that it's a time, early adolescence, where kids are developing their identity, their sense of self.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel says research shows the Surgeon General is right.
Those brains are still developing, and we have enough research to show that constant social media scrolling can actually affect brain chemistry in these young kids. There's plenty of research to suggest that social media, especially social media addiction, can have a negative impact on teens' mental health, increasing risk of conditions such as anxiety, depression, body dysmorphia, disrupting sleep, schoolwork. Teens are even exposed to misinformation, hate speech, cyberbullying, and predators out there who want to manipulate teens and get their identity and their privacy.
So I find this very fascinating that we are just now addressing this for the reasons that they just stated, when I think pretty much all of us parents already knew this. So I'm curious what you all think about this new statement, and any other deeper thoughts.
Well, it's really interesting for me because we didn't allow our children to buy we didn't get them cell phones till they were about 14 or 15. So we kind of thought 13 was too young. But it's kind of interesting when you see what's going on in the world today, when you have the drag queen reading hour or whatever they're doing at the libraries, and
Exactly.
then also the many different things that they're doing that you can get in the library. So now we're going to come out and take steps back and say it's too young, but we're also allowing these other things to still happen in facilities like a library, who is
Right.
funded by who. So I mean, it's interesting. It's a
Right.
very when I saw this topic, I was like, wow, they're coming out with this now. But I know in our situation, we waited. Well, our youngest son, when we moved him here, I think he was turning 14, and he begged us for a phone because he said, all my friends in Ohio,
Yes.
and we were like, no, you have to wait. But at that time, they didn't have all the access that they have today. When you open it up, and something can pop up that they see.
Right.
So
Right.
I think, honestly, I think 13's way too young, but quite frankly, we have a large number of adults who can't handle
They can't.
what comes across the phone and all that. And,
Right.
and I don't mean just by the content, but there's a couple of things. It's content, it's addiction. You get into that thing, especially, like I said, it happens with adults. You see them, they drive down the street. They can't drive for 5 seconds without
looking
you
at
know,
it.
if they get a
phone.
text. And if they get a text or an email, you have to look at it right away, like something's going to happen. So unless you are the holder of the missile codes, it can wait. But adults can't handle it.
Right.
So I'm not shocked at all that there would be studies of
Right.
kids. And to go one step further, and you guys have kids that were in school and are in school or whatever the case may be, if you're focused on your phone and worried about who's going to text and who said this and that and the other, you are not paying attention to what's being taught.
Right.
And therefore, you know, you lose it there. You're also learning from something that's not, nobody's watching it. Nobody knows what you're seeing or what you're learning.
Well, and everyone interprets a text different, right? And you got these kids that feel like they're being bullied when a text is coming to them and it doesn't mean exactly what they think. And I think that's a struggle. And I know with having children that work in the school system and a wife that worked in the school system, I mean, kids get on there to see what other kids are doing, and then they get upset because they're not living that lifestyle, right? And that's just like a moment, a picture, a moment.
Right.
It's not their life. And so I think it's so interesting.
But adults do the same thing.
The adults are doing the same thing too. So that kids are learning, and kids are learning from adults, and then you know they're picking up those habits.
Yeah.
And you get some kid, well, adults do it too. It's funny, everything I say, I'm like,
Goes
well,
back to
adults
the
do that too.
adults.
But some
That's right.
kids get into this reality TV thing where I need to let somebody know what I'm doing every minute. So I did this, I did that, I
Right.
did that. Although there's some adults that do the same thing,
Oh,
you know?
yes.
And it's coming.
Yeah.
The meta virtual world where you can be who you want to be
Whatever
and
you
not
wanna
go
be,
outside and
right.
play anymore. Because I saw the one with the guy laying on a bed, and he stood up and he was a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
And he could do all that quarterback was doing, but really he didn't have to do that. Then he doesn't have to go outside. Like kids don't know how to go outside and play anymore.
Right.
They're too worried about being on the phone or whatever device they have. They don't understand. I always say, go outside. And they're like, well, what's outside?
But there's two that do, because I saw that commercial too, and there were two things that I got out of it. Number one, it's what he says, and if you listen to what he says, I'm like, I can't believe we're promoting this. He says, I want to be the star, the all-star,
Exactly.
and I don't want to wait. And there it is,
Exactly.
because you want to be given that right
Right.
now. So not only does he not want to wait, he doesn't want to work for it.
Right, correct.
And this is where you get into this, and it goes far beyond sports. You get people who go to a job and they want to be the CEO today.
Right.
They've never worked there a day in their life. They have no idea what this company does.
Well,
But I
they got
want to be
trophies for everything they did, so why wouldn't they expect that?
true, true. So yeah, and to go back to your original point, yeah, I don't know how we get out of it because
Right.
it's evolving so fast that all this technology, there's information that's coming out so fast. I mean, when we were kids, if something happened today, it might be 2 days before we really found out about it.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Even if you go back to the Kennedy assassination. I mean, it took a while for all that to
All the
spin back
information.
around. Right now, we would have 37,000 views, takes, and all this, that, and the other.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. How do we get out of it?
Well, I think parents just need to take control. Well, they need to take control of themselves, first of all, but they need to take control of their households again. And it's a repeated message that we're hearing in communities now, that parents want more control over their own children and their education and what have you. My kids, I was like you, Lynn, I didn't allow them on social media either until they were probably in,
Right.
I've got one who still isn't on social media, thank goodness, but they didn't want to be on social media, and we didn't allow it, but we were trumped by the schools, and I'm not saying which school, but they were pushing the kids to, get on this app because then we can do this and that, and go check this because that's where I'm going to post the lessons, and be on this. And that really was upsetting, that the schools were enabling what we were trying to restrict because we knew what was best for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to stop, Jim.
Well, and I think and you guys would know best, but didn't COVID actually exacerbate the problem?
Right.
Probably.
Because now we kept everybody at home, and the only way the schools could do virtual, online. Do they give them iPads now, or laptops, or they used to?
I believe Kearney
back
does.
in my day.
Laptops.
I believe Kearney does.
Is it laptops or iPads or
Laptops.
Okay.
They got the laptops.
Because we had typewriters.
that you couldn't take
Didn't
home,
do us
and
a
it was
whole lot of
bolted to
good.
the
I
table.
don't know what it was going to do if I did it anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. And then this actually kind of parlays nicely into the next thing, because when you, Lynn, it's not only that they're getting the information, it's what information is real, what information is false, what information is skewed, and then you get it stuck in your head, and it's the primal learning thing, because the thing you hear first
Is the
is
truth.
what you believe,
Right.
regardless.
Correct.
And I think you found some problems in the truth category.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I posted an article on social media the other day, and I was immediately fact-checked on it. I know people's going to laugh about that. It wasn't even political. It was about eggs, folks. It was about eggs. Why are we still being fact-checked? We'll talk about that after the break.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
Electric cooperatives are different. We have a sense of pride in our local community and support the people who live here. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative supports local schools, takes an active role in economic development, and works hard to keep costs down for its members. We exist for one purpose, to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about how Platte Clay Electric Cooperative is working to achieve that mission, visit www.pcec.coop. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
You may have noticed your shoulder hurting, or maybe a kink in your neck. The culprit may be looking right at you. Your phone. Think about how you use it. Does that pain feel familiar to you?
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathman with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738, or you can visit the office at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
Walnut Creek Vineyard and Winery. Walnut Creek serves their premium wines in true farm-to-table fashion. Their grapes are grown on small vineyards in Missouri and Colorado and pressed right here in Holt, Missouri. Their locally made wine pairs with their gourmet pizza and charcuterie boards. Walnut Creek Vineyard and Winery. Open Thursday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 90 North Main Street in Holt, or find them on the web at walnutcreekwine.com. Walnut Creek Vineyard and Winery, bringing farm to table to your glass.
Trump was fact-checked all the time when he was president, but we just found out that his enemies had direct links on Facebook and Twitter to get the messages flagged and him removed from social media platforms. Biden rarely gets fact-checked, even though he continues to say the things like there is zero inflation last month. I posted an article on social media regarding eggs that may increase the risk of blood clots, and it immediately fact-checked. We know that food high in protein is linked to health issues. So my question is, why are we still being fact-checked, and who is fact-checking the fact-checkers? Have either of you been flagged, fact-checked, or put in social media jail for the post you made? What do you guys say?
I never have, but my guess is this one has.
Actually, I haven't, but I can tell you what has happened. So there's a couple of things, and we've actually done it. We've told this story here at the station before. So everybody envisions the fact checkers to be like little scientists with glasses and all that. It's kids. They're just kids. And a lot of them are just whatever they think. They're not truly checking the fact. There's also the AI in it, and we'll get more into AI here in a minute, but the AI in it will take the algorithms of words, phrases, and all that, and will throttle back what gets out. And this show is a prime example, and we went through this with the news, and not to steal from your subject, but it's kind of interesting what we did. So we used to do video news here at the station, and what it started with is when we did e-news, and certain stories we'd notice we're getting way throttled back on views. And it was across a number of different platforms. And what we started to notice was articles that had certain words in them. At that time, COVID was a big one, masks, whatever, would get way throttled back. So then we did an experiment and we did video news. And in the video news, there was no text, none whatsoever. But we would do stories, and then we would do other stories and throw those words in there. Well, if you ever watch video, and even on this show, there is, at the bottom of the screen, if you need it, there's the closed captioning, right? So it takes what you're saying, the algorithm still sees the word, and it will throttle it back. And I'm going to tell you right now that today's show will be throttled because of what was in what you just said.
Right.
Thanks a lot. That's not going to help your ratings against Mike Davis. I'm going to tell you that right now. But
You never know.
well, that's true. But all that to say is that yes, it's throttled, it's restricted on what you see, and so when I try to be a little more open-minded when I hear people say stuff or they're doing. And I'm not going to get into specific examples because I don't want to alienate half the country, but I try to think, I don't think in terms of, wow, what a moron. I think in terms of what did they hear? Where are they getting their information that made them think this or that? Because if you watch, we've talked about this before, you pick different news sources. So I'm going to use two that everybody knows: CNN, Fox News.
Yeah.
In theory, if they're talking about a story, no matter what it is, the story should be similar. There might be a few discrepancies here and there, but if you look at it, you take any story you want, almost any story in the world, even ones where you saw video of what happened, it's like these two stations, you're like, are they reporting the same thing?
Right.
So to your point, I don't know why we're in a crisis over eggs. It's the same reason we ran out of toilet paper, I guess. I don't know what's going on. Why are we short on eggs? What happened? Are the chickens
bird flu.
on strike or what? The bird
yeah.
flu.
Oh,
Probably.
I really don't know, but I just thought it was kind of funny that this article came out because of what is happening right now. You see a lot of things that has to deal with blood clots, right?
Right.
And
heart conditions.
And heart conditions. And so
Right.
I thought, interesting article, and that's me. And I just post it and I say research. I don't comment. I don't say I agree. I don't say I disagree. I let people make their own comment on it. And right away I got flagged. I mean, it was like not even seconds, so blood clot must be a word.
It probably is.
I'm sure it's a word, and I was tagged, and it basically you could still read the article, but it's just telling you this is false and blah, 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 blah. They just go
Eggs
through their
might be
explanation.
flagged too in correlation
But
with the economy and inflation, you know.
Yeah. And there was a time I just put a picture of Nathan Hale. I like quotes, and I put a picture of him on there, and I was put in jail for 5 days. No comment. I broke whatever.
Yeah, that's not uncommon. As we all know, everybody's seen it, and everybody has that friend who
likes to push it.
No, everybody knows somebody who got flagged, put in Facebook jail. It's now become a big joke. But of the people that I know, when I've actually heard what their story or what they were talking about, some of them are so inane. You're like, what does that have to do with any? You don't care. Was it me? No, it wasn't me. It was in our neighborhood. We had a wasp nest that got built down by the pool. The wasp made a nest and all that, and someone got on and said, "Are they murder hornets?" And they got flagged because they used the word murder. But murder hornets, if you will remember, was
Down in Texas, right?
Yeah, we all needed.
It was a thing.
We were the world was ending. We had murder hornets. And then someone else said, I went down there and I killed them and got banned or flagged or put in jail or whatever.
Interesting.
So the problem is
it doesn't know context.
It doesn't, exactly. It does not understand context.
Well, there was a time, when COVID was around and the lockdowns were around, anything you said, because I was big on researching and I would put things out there, and I wouldn't get tagged for maybe 2 weeks. It wasn't like this one. This one was right away, which I was shocked because I thought it kind of went away. And I was like, well, this is kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
So I shared the picture because I thought, I got tagged for this. And I'm usually getting tagged, but 2 weeks later, they'll tell me I had false information. So this one was just like, they really wanted this one to go away.
Yeah, well, so the thing that's interesting is how much stuff that previously was flagged as false information that we now know to be true.
Correct.
Right.
Because, there was a lot of that going on, and they're like, and
I challenge things.
But there's no recourse. There's no recourse to it.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, it's kind of like no harm, no foul. And then you had the people. Did you? I'm not sure if you saw it, where all the people. I say all. A large group of people who made a bunch of comments about people as it related to COVID and all that sort of thing that we've later found out to not be true, are now saying, well, don't be mad at me because we didn't know at the time.
Right.
And there again,
they're hiding behind ignorance.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like I can say whatever I want,
That's right.
and you can't criticize me.
Unless you're talking about Christian topics, the Bible, God, Jesus, whatever, then you can get flagged. And honestly, Lynn, I am waiting for the day that I get banned or put in jail, because I like to put on my social media personal pages inspirational quotes or scripture or quotes from people from the conservative Christian world, and I'm waiting for the day that gets
They say
flagged.
it's not allowed.
Yeah.
So, I'm asking, I don't know, what is allowed and what isn't, as it relates to that.
Well, and who gets to decide?
Their committee, right? Or the people that they form that's supposedly checking all this.
Right. And where's the list of bullet points of what we can and can't say?
And that's the problem. So like when you got flagged on the eggs thing, wouldn't it be nice if they said, okay, Lynn, here's the problem.
Correct.
Eggs are not real. They don't exist, or whatever the case may be.
It's coming to that.
It probably is.
That's another
coming to that.
topic.
Well, as we're headed into a world of AI, and as we talk about all this technology and everything that's going on, a good question comes up. Are we as a society, we always look to evolve, but with AI, technology, social media, are we evolving or are we actually devolving as a society? We'll talk about it when we come back.
Walnut Creek Vineyard and Winery. Walnut Creek serves their premium wines in true farm-to-table fashion. Their grapes are grown on small vineyards in Missouri and Colorado and pressed right here in Holt, Missouri. Their locally made wine pairs with their gourmet pizza and charcuterie boards. Walnut Creek Vineyard and Winery. Open Thursday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 90 North Main Street in Holt, or find them on the web at walnutcreekwine.com. Walnut Creek Vineyard and Winery, bringing farm to table to your glass.
You value choices when it comes to the products and services you bring into your home. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative gives you control over the energy you use. PCEC offers members ways to save with energy efficiency rebates and demand billing. You even have the power to choose the resources used to produce your power. To learn more, visit www.pcec.coop/power. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative. Your power, your way.
Migraine headaches, the throbbing in your temples, the pounding in your forehead, extreme sensitivity to light and sound. Your neck feels so tight it could snap off. Oh, the debilitating pain.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathman with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738, or you can visit the office at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
Online banking at Kearney Trust Company gives you 24/7 access to your checking, savings, money markets, CDs, and loan accounts. You can access your accounts anytime from your home, office, and mobile devices. Online banking with Kearney Trust combines convenience and flexibility to bank on your own terms. Kearney Trust Company is a partner for success with 2 locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
And welcome back to Kearney Live. As a society, we always look to evolve. We've evolved ever since the beginning of time that man is aware of, man or woman, however you want to say it. You're quite welcome. See how I evolved right there?
That was good. Good
But
catch.
if you go back, I mean, I guess we used to live in caves and run from dinosaurs and whatnot, and then we invented the wheel, which was kind of cool actually, and now we have cars and that sort of thing. But the question is, with all the AI and all of the technology that's going on, are we actually devolving? Because we're no longer working for ourselves. And a good example of that is if you go to the grocery store, how much of it is automated where there is no a checkout person. If you go to a McDonald's, which they're trying to work on their people, there's no people there. And if you see how some of the people on videos have acted in a McDonald's, having the people not in there is probably a good idea. I don't know if you're going to beat up a machine or not. But AI is advancing so quickly, and technology is advancing so quickly. I mean, think if, and I don't know which one of you wants to go first. Stacy looks like she's gearing up, so I'll start over here.
I don't know.
But think simple. If you need to know, you're going to go from here at the station to some meeting somewhere, you're going to get on Google Maps and you'll figure it out in a heartbeat, right?
Right.
And the whole way you're driving, the thing's telling you, turn left, slow down. There's a cop ahead, whatever. You know everything. Go back 10, 15 years, you had to break out a map.
Get the map out.
And all that
Maps
sort of
are
thing.
awesome.
So, yeah, we have computers instead of typewriters. We covered that earlier.
Right.
But so is this hurting us as we evolve?
Wow, that is a really deep question. Yes and no. I think we've already discussed in some ways how social media has damaged our young people, or even our adults, as we kept reminding ourselves that we're addicted to these things, that it does affect our brains and the way that they are shaped and formed and the way they function. So in that sense, perhaps, yeah, we do devolve. But then in another sense, look at all that we have available to us to learn and know now through technology and the internet. And I believe that we were made to continue to think and create and advance. So I think this is going to continue, but I think we have gotten lazy in several areas because of technology. And so because of that, yes.
Yeah, I think we've become dependent on technology to a degree that it's detrimental. A good example is, a lot of people, when the Space Force was, when it first was developed, a lot of people made fun of it. Ha, 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 we're going to do a Death Star. But what you lose focus is, our whole technology, all of our technology is based primarily on now satellites. Everything is run off of satellites. Satellites talk to your car. If you have a car that's been made in the last 5 to 7 years or so, it's your computers, your cell phone. Somebody hacks our satellites or shoots them out of the sky, we're back to the 1920s, just like that.
Yep.
Your car won't work. You're not going to be able to get gas because all those run off. Everything's satellite driven. Imagine, Lynn. So the question is, as a people, how would people survive if we were in 1920 just like that?
We would not survive.
You don't think so?
I think there would be struggles.
Of course.
There would be struggles because of, are you saying that we had the technology and the technology was hacked?
Let's say tomorrow it doesn't exist. Nothing works because let's say
like year 2000, everything was supposed to crash
stop.
and
right.
die, right?
Let's say everything crashes. So what my personal thought is, if you agree with this, I think there are a group of people, probably older people like ourselves, who grew up and had to. I grew up on a farm,
right,
so we did everything manually. Your survival skills are going to kick in. I used to see this on the police department a lot. There were people in a critical situation who would go into survival mode immediately. There were some that would fold immediately. It was over. And so I wonder, would there be a huge batch of people that would just be like helpless? They wouldn't know what to do.
There would be. Yeah. But like you said, there would be a small group that would be able to function and probably hopefully help those that are in need. But we would have a big group that wouldn't have a clue what to do because they're dependent on all the things that we have right now that gets them through, like driving, self-driving cars. We're talking about, now you go, I think that was in Texas, you were talking about that McDonald's. I mean, there's a robot that brings you food to you in that. So people don't want to work, so corporations are going to find a way to make it happen.
Right.
And so looking at that, let's picture AI as we talk about robots. Here's a little glimpse into the future and some questions we'll have.
Artificial intelligence could end mankind. To worry those heavyweight names, there must be some truth to the possibility that AI development, if not guarded closely, could have a disastrous impact on humanity's future. Artificial intelligence robots. Are they the future? Do you think that it's possible for man to create robots so intelligent that they might turn on us one day? AI technology is advancing so rapidly. What we are seeing now was something absolutely unthinkable 10 years ago. Do the benefits of advancing this technology far outweigh the risks? You might recall Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, likened artificial intelligence to summoning a demon, while the late Stephen Hawking warns that artificial intelligence could end man.
So that kind of gives you a little framework, right? So AI started, and now it's advancing in ways that we never thought possible. And we were talking a little before the show. If you remember Back to the Future, the movie, when it was made in 1985, we laughed at all the stuff that's on there. How much of that movie is now true?
Oh, yeah.
Flat screen TVs. The hoverboard we don't quite have yet. But.
Well, and I sat in a meeting with my company, and they're showing the self-driving cars. They're showing the cars that are going to fly, like you saw in Back to the Future. That those things are coming. They're planned out 10 to 15 years down the road. So there is the plan. Them are already being built, or they are built prototypes.
So the interesting thing is that AI now is starting to self-teach. It's learning. And that, to me, is the most dangerous thing ever. So if you want to go to sleep tonight, let me get you started in the right direction. Take a look at this.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than drugs.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
All right. So the point of that is, there's all sorts of videos. These AI robots are not only learning how to learn, they're also very lifelike. So they take on human qualities, which makes you not look at them as a robot. You start to look at them just out of natural reaction as a person.
Right.
But the interesting thing is, these robots can do all sorts of things. So imagine if that robot comes over and serves your food. I mean, we're not having to pay. So if you're an employer, you see where I'm going?
I know.
If you're an employer and you can have a robot that looks like a person and will wait tables, and I'm going to use a restaurant as an example, wait tables and do all that stuff, and you have to pay $40,000, $100,000 for that robot. But you don't have to pay wages, anything else. Or you can have an employee that you got to pay hourly and everything else. What are you going to do?
So the clip you showed, pretty interesting, right? What was it on? Was it Jimmy?
Yeah,
was it,
Kimmel, I think.
Was it one of them shows late night? What did the crowd do when the robot won? They laughed.
Right.
So they're trying to program you to be okay with it, because when you start to see it come out in the world, because what are we having problems with right now? Getting people to work, right? Everywhere you go, help want it, help want it. So you can make this reality. And like you said, they're not going to miss work. They're not going to need to be paid.
They're not going to call in sick.
They're going to be able to do the job, right?
They're not going to complain.
Right. And I saw a video the other day of a guard dog, which was a robot guard dog, guarding a shipyard in California. It was just on all fours going around, and it's guarding the facility. And they're also building that for military, where these dogs will go in, because then you don't have to worry about someone dying. And then I also heard there's a self-flying plane that they've just come out with that's kind of the same way.
But
so they're
we've been
preparing
talking
our
about
minds.
this stuff for a long time, and people were worried about automating the car maker, the line where you made cars.
Elon Musk is pushing that.
Well, no, but I mean, there is
Yes.
already automation out there.
Oh, you're talking like when we, Ford, for example.
Right, when we
made-
went from using people to drill the bumper onto the car, now that is all automated. And we were worried that was going to take over human touch and need to be on the floor, the shop floor during that time. But we've found now that no, you still need the people to control the machines because they break down or they do
But
whatever,
you?
what have
So
you.
here's the catch. I'm glad you brought that up because it kind of leads to the next thing. So the problem,
Jim just used me.
I did. Not going to be the first time. So the problem with the AIs you talked to, or the machines,
Right.
is they couldn't get extra parts and they couldn't fix themselves if they broke down originally. Now we have learned the machines bring the parts and they get the parts. Now the machines can order the parts because they can do it through the satellites. So machines are learning how I'm low on this, I need that. I'm low on this, oh, this isn't working. So the machines are now fixing the machines, right?
It's all programming.
Right.
So what happens when the machines learn that they don't need humans anymore?
Correct.
And then the machines look at humans as a threat. So
Or a liability.
you end up with stuff like this.
At a top robotics company in Japan this week, 4 robots being developed for military applications killed 29 humans in the lab. And they did it by shooting what he called metal bullets. The scariest part is that lab workers deactivated 2 of the robots, took apart the 3rd. But the 4th robot began restoring itself and somehow connected to an orbiting satellite to download information about how to rebuild itself even more strongly than before.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. Far.
Good luck sleeping tonight. So, Stacy.
I think I'm going to resign the show. I don't need to know these things.
But the funny thing about that video is it came out as it was in a lecture series like a true thing. Nothing, I mean, all of a sudden, I'm going to say it's probably not true. It
felt like a movie.
It felt like a movie. They threw the music in as if the thing wasn't bad enough. However, the point of the thing is that is kind of what AI is working itself up to, because we're teaching robots how to fix themselves, how to correct something, how to supply themselves. And so then when a robot learns, and there's all sorts of stuff about AI, how they can read facial expressions to tell if you're lying more accurately than anything else, not the old-fashioned stick your finger in a thing and watch the deal bounce. But if you watch that piece there, the theory being you had 3 robots, right? Or was it 4?
It was
4 robots.
Yep.
3 were disabled. The one puts the other 3 back together, and they communicate to satellites. That they do that now, so that's not out of their thing. And then the other 3 the other 3 robots, they supposedly killed the scientists. Why? Because the scientists were the threat. The scientists disabled them.
Exactly.
I hope everybody sleeps well tonight.
What is your point,
While Stacy goes into code 6 freak out mode, we're going to be back with final thoughts in just a minute.
There's something for everyone at the Kearney Enrichment Council. Spark Studios' after-school programs at the Old Firehouse use STEAM-based activities to help kids learn, create, and find new hobbies and skills. The Enrichment Council supports our senior community with fun activities and necessary services at the Kearney Senior Center. All of Kearney comes out for our festivals, concerts, farmers markets, movies in the park, parades, and much more. The Kearney Enrichment Council, 106 South Jefferson Street in Kearney, 816-635-0566. Improve quality of life, find your place, build a better future in Kearney.
And welcome back to Kearney Live. While Stacy's trying to think of how fast she can get home to get rid of that robot she bought at Sharper Image over the weekend, we'll start our final thoughts. Lynn, take it away.
Well, I'd like to first just give a shout out and a challenge. Gigi Lear, my wife Kelly, has helped out in the past, and then there's many others that have helped out. Students also that deal with special needed students at the Kearney school system. There is a need, folks. On Friday, February 10th, the Night to Shine KC, which is a Tim Tebow run facility, they need buddies. They had to shut down the VRP registration due to the lack of buddies. And basically what you have to do is go on this website. It's called signup.com, and everything is full except for buddies. And you would have to be there from 5 to 9, 5 to 9:30, dress up, and just hang out. Just hang out with your buddy and make sure they get to eat, make sure they get to dance, and make sure they get a good time. So it's special needed kids being able to get together and have their own little prom. And Tim Tebow does a phenomenal job. He does it all over the world. So I challenge you, if you could sign up, go to that website. Like I said, it's next Friday, February 10th.
Nice. Oh, Night to Shine is an incredible event when individuals with developmental disabilities get treated like kings, the kings and queens that they are. And to see the smiles and joy on their faces from that one night is just so special. Definitely go volunteer if you have the opportunity to do that.
Go ahead.
May I go? Okay. Also coming up in Kearney, a couple things you want to know about. There is a Galentine's Night Out planned on February 9th. Some of the businesses, the wonderful boutiques and shopping places in downtown Kearney are going to have some specials and treats and great shopping. And so go check that out. And then a couple of days later, on February 11th, is going to be the Wine and Chocolate Tour with the Kearney Enrichment Council. And you get to go around to all of the businesses that are involved, get a taste of some chocolate, some great wine from Walnut Creek Winery, and of course do some shopping and just have a lot of fun. So check out those two opportunities. You can find them on the Visit Kearney mobile app.
Very good. All of us here at Kearney Live would like to take a moment to send our condolences to Mike Davis. We just found out a little bit ago that his father passed away today. Our condolences, thoughts, and prayers to you, Mike. We know you've been dealing with that for a little bit, and sorry to hear that. Uplifting news here before we go. Let me end on a high note. I wanted to say on a personal note, happy birthday to my mother, who her birthday is actually tomorrow. That's her in the middle, by the way, just in case anybody wondered. So happy birthday to Mom, and that way no one can say I forgot. Right. Because I've got video proof that.
And she listens to the show.
She absolutely does. So Mom, happy birthday. You'll be getting that gift tomorrow. Got to write down something again. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, 5 p.m. on Kearney Live. Have a good night, everybody.